Hello, cool cats, cool dudes, and Patrick Bamford. Welcome to this We All Love Leeds, the show where we discuss our love of Leeds. Joining me today is my usual co-host. It's the man himself. It's Mr. Ben. How are you, sir?
Very well, mate. How are you? I'm a bit confused. We're on opposite sides.
That's easily fixed.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. So, how are you, sir?
Very well. How are you? It's been a boring week.
Not too bad. Yeah, it's been quite the weekend with the weather being as it is. Got some people in the chat waiting.
The flower pot men are here.
All the way from Sweden. Well, we'll pretend my name is Bill.
Anders.
Yeah. So I should put that bit up. And then we've got Sam Greenwood, the man, the myth, the legend. He is here, waiting for Tom and Ben, the flower pot men.
Don't forget, Sam, I have power. I have power.
Does have power. Although, actually, it's interesting you say that. In the road trip yesterday, live on YouTube, I did actually give him and Gary the admin powers on our show. It was more just to see if I could.
Did he respectfully? How am I going to word this? Did he abuse the power?
We'll find out today. There was no show for him to abuse the power on. But Pincushion is here.
If he wants.
Oh no!
He can actually kick me out. You know, he can actually kick me out. Go up to that little YouTube thing at the top where it says "We all have Leeds."
Oh no! I just mean in the YouTube chat. He has the power to time people out.
Cool.
But enough of that behind the curtain stuff. He's saying, Sam Greenwood saying hello to Pincushion. Ian, welcome. Good evening, Sam.
Ian,
so, you might be thinking, what are we doing a show for during tonight? Obviously, we didn't do the show last week. We had our reasons. Okay. But what's going on this week? Not much, eh? But I will find a way to simplify everything. Look at this. The international. When you're enjoying the start of the domestic season, and then the international break comes along and just smacks you in the back of the head.
Because
with a chair, the international break can wield a chair, as we all know. And it's the Full Nelson show that I made him the mod of. That actually sounds more realistic. Yeah, that actually sounds more. My apologies, Sam. My apologies to everyone for wasting 2 minutes of your life on that when it turned out to actually be inaccurate. Hello, thank you. Why don't we just start out with what's becoming more of a recurring segment, the weekly Everton roast, or as I like to personally know it as, to be more equal for Everton, addressing our enemies. What do we have?
Start doing a Bournemouth one as well.
Oh,
I don't like Bournemouth.
They're well worth it. This is never going to be easy to say, but I'm going to have to relegate your club this season. We'll bounce back up, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course we will. That was when he was telling Homer Simpson he's going to have to cut his arms off, and he asked if they'd grow back. That was a thing. They also then discovered that he was just holding on to the cans. So if he'd actually let go, his arms would slip out. But he likes his food. Anyway. So, 0-0 draw was so epic, it had to be postponed. Well, I was trying to work out things to say about it for 2 weeks. So, wait until you have to play Sheffield Friday.
An emoji.
He did. Good evening, BX Gunner. Welcome. Good to see you. And toffees becoming edible if they're roasted, whatever that means. Doesn't surprise me that Ian would know that. But then we also, because I have to wrestle for everything as well, the Sky Bet Championship creeping up on Everton like it's the Undertaker. Just saying. Yeah. But also, in breaking news, Pochettino has been sacked by Chelsea. Sorry, just practicing for December. So, yeah. Okay.
Think he'll last that long?
I think he will, because he's quite good. But anyone that was bang average would probably last November.
Yeah, they kept hold of Potter for a long time, didn't they, I suppose? So.
Yeah.
And there was calls for his head long before they got rid of it.
Yeah. Got footage of Brighton turning up at the Premier League annual general meeting. They said to Chelsea, "You wouldn't like this next wonder kid. It's more of a Liverpool type panic buy." To which Chelsea said, "Now just wait a minute. We're twice as dumb as the people of Liverpool. Tell us who this player is so we can pay 120 million for him right now." That's going to be Evan Ferguson, by the way. They're gonna get ripped off for him. BX and Sangre and the company, maybe. I don't think it'll be that surprising based on their current start. Because, also, we're going to go to the Emirates Stadium, where in the top half you have Onana when Man United went 1-0 up. And then 1 minute later, when he's telling his defence to calm down because he's just conceded one. Because, yeah. Then we've got live footage of Garnacho when he thought he'd won the game. That does create an interesting situation. Imagine having to explain to someone that you didn't win when you scored to go 1-0, 1 goal ahead in the 89th minute. That's having to explain that to someone. But as the Devil Flanders, representing Arsenal, would say, VAR won't save you this time. And it didn't, because they lost.
Square Ball did is it Johnny United or something? Which was a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
They caught him. They thought he was doing it after the game, but it turned out he had done it just after Arsenal scored the second goal.
Yeah, it was live, wasn't it, on the third goal? It was,
But he was talking like they'd already lost, and it was done.
Yes,
and you'd thought it'd have been 30 minutes after the game.
What a toss back.
And then
Let anyone speak.
They've scored a free. They've scored 3.
Wait till it happens to your club. Wait till it happens to your club next week, he said. It's happened to everyone's club. Deal with it. He was an inch offside. Deal with it.
Get away, Rihanna. And then United, I had one. I didn't save it, but there is one that they brought on Maguire and Evans, isn't it, to finish the game out and ended up losing. Yeah, in 2023
for England. How can you justify picking someone who's not playing?
That's criminal. It's especially when I remember Southgate, like every England manager takes a job, I will pick on merit and I won't pick on reputation or whatever. And it's like, just like it. You just like, well.
So why is Callum Wilson ahead of Nketiah on the bench then? If you're picking people on form.
Exactly, because Eddie Nketiah is amazing and scoring. Well, he has scored. A special hello to Director John. I believe he is all the way in Romania. Is it Bucharest by any chance? One of the only places I know in Romania.
Beware. He is within firing range.
Yeah. Yes, he is in within, and he's American, so his firing range is a lot bigger than our firing range.
And
clearly,
everywhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
Lots of it.
Are you having a good time, John? Here's Johnny. It's a shining.
John, if you could find the time whilst on vacation, could you send us a slide of the next 5 fixtures for next week, please? Thank you.
Yeah, we do our post-production and pre-production during the live show.
He's also 17% British.
17?
17.
Well, we're that lucky. We're lucky. Because if it was only 14, we'd be in severe danger.
Thank you, John.
That's very kind of you, John. So there was a football match last week, and it was held on National Cinema Day. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So Leeds United played Sheffield Wednesday at a sunny and beautiful, the greatest stadium on earth, Ellen Road.
Can I just interrupt you?
Yeah. Oh, please, yeah.
If in the comments you'd rather talk about Tom's experience at National Cinema Day, which is a lot better, trust me, or would you rather talk about this game?
Should I do it in the style like of gangsters on the street? How they would do it?
Yeah,
They'd go like,
yeah.
hit a 1 in the chat if you want to hear about National Cinema Day. Hit me a 1, something like that. Or like, do a 2 if you, because number 2 actually makes sense about this game because it was shit. Pardon my language. My apologies. It was not good. Anyway,
we'll
so we turn up.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, very good. So we turn up and we're like, oh, hang on. That you know that's not true. You cannot say that when you know Old Trafford exists and the toilet bowl in North London, Tottenham.
Ellen Road's got soul.
Romania versus Israel was last night here, about 1 kilometre away from my apartment. Wow. Do you know what the score was of that? Out of interest. Just
find out for you.
It's not the. Sweden plays with 4 or 5 players that were never in their team. So how did Sweden get on? Oh, it was 1-1 draw. Thank you, John.
It was 1-1.
Pink cushion with an astute observation. It's unlike you to be controversial, Sam. So, facts. Toilet bowl up the road's far worse. That is true. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Director John. So, obviously, we can go into it after, but obviously we had to line up cine lists due to the
due to him being
his actions. Yeah, his actions on the Friday night. So this was our lineup. I didn't expect all the new lads to play, to be fair. And
what paid me off about this was we put Pirro as 10 and it didn't work at all. I didn't get that. You bought a number 9. We've been crying out for a number 9, so you play him at 10.
Do you think that was because he was anticipating that he was actually going to play Sydney, and then he had to shuffle?
Possibly, but just switch them 2 round. Because we had chances where if he was on the end of them in the box, he's going to score 1 in 3, isn't he? So
that's how they lined it up on. But that's not what actually happened, right?
For me, yeah.
But what I liked was clean sheet. There's spoiler. It was goalless. All right. For anyone who didn't know, there was no goals. Yeah, spoiler for something that happened 8 days ago. Spoiler. There's no goals in this. I've conned you into watching a show about something that had no goals in it. I've conned you. You might as well stay around because it's successful conning. Trying to fit the right phrase for Cine. I think you have it. And Shackleton is a part-time explorer. Shackleton is currently what's the word? Sacred cow at Leeds because he's basically the new Stuart Dallas.
He is Stuart Dallas Mark II. Yeah. Look, everybody needs a utility player. Everybody.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal use White as theirs.
Yeah. That sounds fair. So basically, Ben suggested we use a specific emoji for the moments in the game.
The entire game. Yeah, well, just for the entire game. But we'll go through it bit by bit.
Yeah. So in the 11th minute, Pirro dragged this shot wide. In the 17th minute, Somerville put this shot over the bar. In the 39th minute, Ruta missed this. It was a good save by the keeper, to be fair. Like, palmed it out of his hands.
But still.
Yeah. In the 48th minute, Shackleton, just over the bar. Unlucky, though. But Shackleton also managed to achieve an expected boot coming off his foot of 1.0. Yeah. Will he get it a third game in a row?
So the only photo though, I would have been like, yeah, that was worth showing.
He gets good distance, but he didn't get as much distance as he did the first time. That first one nearly ended up like NASA nearly caught it.
It beat him to the ball, didn't it?
Did.
Welcome, Bandy.
Then we got Somerville 1-on-1. Missed. How'd he miss that? Criminal. Anyway, but to credit, our defenders also got past, but Melier actually saved this. So, no poo emoji. Very good. But Lonto fired it wide. Lonto, penalty shout. What did you make of this?
Definite penalty. Right. Look, I know Nonto's, for some reason, he's getting his going down easy reputation, but for me, he's nowhere near the ball. He's fallen all over the back of his legs. It's a penalty, and he didn't even look at it. But look, you get shit refs in the top league. We're not gonna. Someone's dad on a Sunday afternoon, isn't it? That's the quality of it.
But you know the real reason he never got it right is because he's a diver. He didn't dive then, but because of his reputation for diving has carried over, he doesn't get. When's he won a penalty for Leeds?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
In his defence in this situation, it would have been very miraculous for him to stay on his feet and carry on. But the fact that you give a goal kick, why don't you book him for diving?
To me, it's very much the Nonto who cried wolf, because there are times where he's not been touched and he's gone down. But the ref knows but he never successfully conned the ref. So he didn't benefit from it, but then that's carried over to punish him in future. Because then when he does get knocked over, they're assuming he hasn't. And it punishes us, the team.
Just ref the fucking game the way it's meant to be refed.
Yeah.
You're not in charge. Do you know? It's not about your ego and it's ref the game.
I know you've already said it, but hello to Bandy.
That result didn't end on that penalty shout. It was just poo emoji.
Yeah. Pirro was played out of position. If he's reported to be the best the division has to offer, it doesn't say much for the strikers in this league. That's fair, but at the same time, this is a good league to dig out players from. Like, I see something on Twitter earlier where they picked like 9 players that have played in the Championship, and Ben White was on there.
Emi Buendia hit that, yeah.
Yeah, and Eze, Elise,
Ben Rama.
Yeah, Ivan Toney. It is a play. Yeah, it's a place to get talent. Let's be fair, and I know that's not what you're saying, but
you're one and only Lord Bamford.
Exactly. He was like the MVP of that league for a long time. Early days, Bandy. Fair. How many badgers does it take to badger someone?
I've never badgered anyone.
Yeah, Sam Greenwood. If referees think like that, it can't be good. This is the thing, though. They're not supposed to, but actually, you may or may not have seen, they released footage or audio of VAR. And a lot of things happen in that are highly unprofessional, or like the police protecting itself kind of stuff. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that referees have it in a preconceived notion of a player in their head and then act on it.
Or something against a team that they think, fuck you, do you know?
Exactly.
Of course they have personal preference and personal feelings that affect their decisions sometimes. I'm not saying all of them at all times, but you're going to get it.
Yeah.
You get spiteful decisions because of what's happened previous.
Sam Greenwood says Ben White is a legend. He was all right until he scored against us. And then
celebrated. Yeah, and then thinks he's hard against all our players.
I like when he squared up to Rafinha and all the other Leeds players were like, "You sure you want to do that, Ben?" But
Who else did he
anyway,
square up to last season? Yeah, I lost.
Started getting a bit spicy.
It's not the fact he celebrated; it's just like the way he celebrated. You know,
it was like he knew what that did to us as a result. And Bears, Packers, go on Packers, go Packers. Yeah, Packers, Bears starting soon. I believe it in 3 minutes' time, 9:25 in England. Good luck to everyone. How did the San Francisco 49ers do out of interest?
I'll have a look now.
They had a good first quarter. I know they had 2 touchdowns. Might have been first half, excuse me. Sam Greenwood says, did Wilco teach Cantona karate? I'm almost certain they did, yeah. Go Bears. Sam likes Chicago everything, doesn't he?
And says 49ers dominate Steelers.
Yep.
Not got a score here, but
yeah. According to our official American football expert Spencer Bronco, 49ers blew out the Steelers, which I believe in American vernacular means that they thrashed them, and that doesn't mean that they got on their knees in front of. Anyway, that's not PG. But speaking of that, Pink Cushion then asks, are they sucking off the EFL? Timing. The referees, do you mean?
30 points to 7 it finished.
Oh,
the Lions won. The Lions beat the Chiefs Friday night.
I was less happy about that because I had the Chiefs on the handicap, but I had the 49ers, I think, minus 3.5. So big win. That's 75p in my pocket. Gamble responsibly, kids. Didn't have time. Yeah, so where were we at? Pen wasn't given. Rutter with a chance. Not that one.
No, I want a double emoji. That was awful.
Actually, it was that one. Excuse me for the second one. Yeah, that photo makes it look less bad than it actually was because he basically controls it. He's put through 1-on-1, and then he just side foot passes it to the keeper. It was like a training exercise where you're training the goalkeeper to catch the ball.
Yeah.
Criminal. Absolutely criminal.
It was like training your 4-year-old to catch the ball.
As former referee, I can clearly say that there's clearly cheating going on in the VAR room.
Totally agree with you there, Bambi.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you, mate.
Sam Greenwood. Can't watch NFL games live, 10 seconds of action, then 5 minutes of adverts. Crazy. Yeah, but have you seen the new Ajax toilet cleaner? Amazing. Sorry, it was adverts. Yeah, anyway. College is worse. NFL mandates 8 commercial breaks per half. Wow. Right, so the game went, you're getting nothing. No goals. All the people that paid for attendance, you're getting nothing. Nothing. Yeah,
it was very Leeds Villa, wasn't it? Very Leeds Villa.
I've never seen Leeds score at Ellen Road. I've been multiple times, never seen a goal. Attended 2 0-0 draws and a defeat, yeah. Heading out and smash the likes. See you, fellas. Well, thank you for stopping by. Just for anyone wanted to know the stats, there they are. Yep, but also Spencer's the place to go for NFL content. He does videos on he does college football, but I'm more interested in the NFL stuff with respect to him. As a former member of the David Batty Defensive Duty Society, I can safely say Scotland borders England, and then please don't go back, Mr. Tom. But I need to try and break the dam, because then in theory, when we do score, it'll be like 7 or 8, surely. Hopefully. I have no idea. I can say it's fair that Bandy suggests that though. So to me, this game very much Sheffield. Am I fair in saying that Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday achieved a 0-0 win?
Yeah, look. For me, even though they didn't really, they had this trouble Melia once. For me, really, they did look when they came forward like they could be threatening. It's not like they did put two banks forward, didn't they? And it was hard to break down. They did a job. They came to do a smash and grab. They didn't get the smash and grab. They got the second prize. They did a job. And I've got a mate who was in army with. He was a Wednesday fan. That was their first clean sheet. And for them,
It was
with
ours.
that attacking power, with that attacking power in that league, to get your first clean sheet, it's a good result, isn't it, for them?
Had a great afternoon. That's like that. They're gonna spend the 2 weeks surely thinking we can build on this. And like if we were them, we'd be ecstatic with this because they had to have come into this game expecting a right hiding.
I've seen a few of their videos on since, and generally they were overall happy. They were singing "We Got a Point" at end.
Yeah, is it fair? It's fair to say though, this is typical Leeds United, right? That we put 4 goals in on the patch of the team that were at the time top of the table, and then we don't score against the team that are at the time bottom of the table.
Yeah, it's just the way we do it, isn't it?
Yeah, the only thing the positive in that is we would have lost 1-0.
This game's not going to define the season. It's like my judgment starts now. Do you know? It's like I've watched, and no disrespect to anybody on any other show, but I've watched them like rating the transfer window and getting into the politics of what's gone on whilst rating. You can't rate a transfer window with the politics as your excuse when you haven't really got a clue about any of what's really gone on, the ins and outs, just what you've been drip fed. So for me, the judgment starts now. Obviously not the first game, but we need to start picking up results and seeing some sort of team and where we're going with it. So transfer windows up. This is what we've got. Let's see what we can do.
That's fair. We've got some people streaming in. Got Colonel Ward with pretty even in terms of shot output, but does prove dominance and possession proves nothing. Can't put ball in back in the net. Perfectly reasonable conclusion. A draw. At the end of the day, goals decide games, not ball possession. Not Leeds beat Man City with 20% of the ball, along those lines. We won at Man City with it's probably like 28% of the ball, something like that. But yeah, and Sam Greenwood with the astute observation that Ben looks like he's constantly getting a gentle tickle.
I am.
I knew that'd make him smile. Colonel Wall, my old tennis partner, how are you? As a derby game, we were still on top. That's not too bad.
Table tennis, Tom. Table tennis.
Is it?
Russ. Oh no, I'm reading the one further down. Sorry,
fair enough. No problem. So Bandy believes as a derby game, well, not believes it was there in the facts that we were on top. That's not too bad. It could be worse. I'd rather watch us with the ball than without it.
We have a WhatsApp request, 6-digit code for John. Sorry for this unprofessionalness.
Bear with me then. I will. Why have I not got? He needs to sign in to the try and sign in on the StreamYard. He'd have to log out of the Stoop and then, but it should let him in because I gave him the password to the Gmail and it should let him in. So I don't know why it hasn't. But because it gives you a fresh one each time. Like the one I gave him before would be invalid. It was like it happened for you.
Yeah. I just
Oh, hang on.
in.
I'll send that to him now. Bear with me. Copy. I'll send it to him. Sorry about this, everyone. There you go. No problem, John. Let me go through the things. Lads, my man Russ Morgan is here. Are you still upset with me, Russ, over wrestling politics?
You can have that out on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. What's the difference between Leeds, Sam Greenwood? Difference between Leeds and what? Russ, my favourite table tennis partner. How are you? That's what you were referring to. Wonderful. I look good in yellow. Sexy Sam in yellow. I can't dispute any of this. When I see lies, I'll call them out.
You know what doesn't look good in yellow?
What's that?
Submarine.
Because
green
conspicuous.
Can't keep you clean.
Yeah. Okay. Now you know how to go ball deep into something. Leeds couldn't hit a Colonel Ward. There might be children watching this. There ain't. No one's watching this. I was signed onto the stoop, no problem. You should let him in. He should be able to get in. Russ is getting my latest OnlyFans pics, Colonel. I am still upset, actually. Of course you are. See, you can turn it around by Fastlane. Bandy has declared Director John lives. I didn't know he was dead. I thought he was just in Romania.
Friday. He wasn't here on Friday, was he? So
that's true. That's fair. That's a fair point. One day we'll wear an all yellow away kit. That was like the 70s, was it not?
No, I think the Packard Bell one was all yellow.
As soon as I said it in my head, I was like, early 2000s. We had all.
Yeah.
John, is the code working? But well,
Gordon's alive. I always love that name because it's Nodrog backwards.
So elsewhere in the league, the Championship, real football, this is what happened. Sunderland
got hammered, proving that their defence is like Leeds' last season.
At least that's not happened to us yet.
Give it time. Do you know what it is? I can't see us taking a tonking. Our defence in that shit. And now we've addressed half of the fullbacks. No, anyway, I've got faith in Junior. He's going to be a baller this season.
The reality is that in a team that has a more front foot possession based game, on the ball, going forwards more than you're having a track back, Junior Firpo's going to be perfect, right?
Well, we got a great month out of him last season, didn't we? So I'm thinking we're going to get at least 3 good months out of him this season. In between his injuries.
That makes sense.
About Leeds and buying class players. No, I think that they were doing all right, unbeaten up until then. They drew with Norwich 4-4, but they were unbeaten up until then.
That makes sense.
Did they Preston top of the league? I think he did he? Flying Preston.
I'm glad you said that. We can do Preston 1 at Stoke.
Was that classed as one of Tony's zoom-ins?
Then we got the bottom half of the table. Unfortunately, we slipped back down into it. Then that's the top half. Preston are top, and I discovered Preston have 2 famous supporters on the Paul Nelson.
I'll let Tom address you, John. He's got the answers to them.
Bear me 1 second, Ben. I will just show the. You might be wondering, who are those two individuals? That is Wade Barrett and WWE commentator Michael Cole, who are Preston North End fans. Wade Barrett actually is a Preston North End fan, and Michael Cole's he's just getting into it, I suppose. But there they are in the kits.
And some dodgy trousers.
Yeah, certainly is. Bear with me.
Just bear with us, folks. We're trying to get DJ in.
I'm going to sort out Director John. But while I do that, we're going to put up. Ben wanted to discuss his first experience going to watch Leeds.
A little bit of nostalgia.
So I'll put that up.
I was a 10-year-old when my first Leeds game. And I don't remember an awful lot about the game. But I know I'd been to Old Trafford, I've been to Anfield and Bootham Crescent before I went to Leeds. And I walked in there and I don't know, some sort of euphoria overtook me. It was goosebumps. And from that minute on, I knew I was a Leeds fan. I've obviously supported them, but without watching them. I think the first time I saw them on telly was the highlights of beating Wigan Athletic in the Cup semi-final, quarter-final in '87, I think. But this was my first live game. And I remember Bobby Davison scoring, but it was just, it was euphoric. It was mad. I just remember just looking around the crowd and looking at the ground and taking it all in, and knew from that minute on I was home. And I was lucky enough that we won. And that season we came up with Sergeant Wilco. And then 2 years later we were champions.
Would you like me to stick up what the 11 is on the day?
Yeah.
Sorry.
11. That's cool. Mel Sterland, who we were lucky enough to meet at the Villa game. My favourite of all time, David Batty. And Bobby Davison, who was a cracking striker in that league. Vinnie Jones as well. His debut. I think we'd gone to Newcastle first game. This was second game of the season. We'd gone to Newcastle. We got hammered by Mickey Quinn, 5-2. But we won the league this season. So yeah, which forwards me on to your game, your first game.
But before we get to that, I wanted to ask: do you know how long Mervyn Day played for Leeds off the top of your head? Because I remember him being at West Ham around the time
at West Ham.
Yeah.
We signed him, I think, that season or just the season just before. And up until about 93. I'll have a look for you now.
My apologies. Yeah, Sam, I think you're right. He did. He did.
West
He
Ham,
definitely
Orient,
went.
Villa, Leeds, Luton. He went to Luton on loan and Sheffield United on loan from Leeds, and ended up at Carlisle. He was there from 1985 to 93. He played 227 games for us.
That sounds about right.
We bought him from Villa. He was at West Ham, then Orient and Villa. We bought him from Villa and then loaned out and then ended up at Carlisle.
We've got a man in the shadows, a special man, a special personal friend of ours. Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend. He lives. It's Mr. John. Director John.
Proof of life.
Can you guys hear me?
I certainly can.
Yeah. What's going
on? How
is
Romania?
Good.
How's Romania, sir?
Weather is nice. Wait, let me. Okay, I had to delete you on YouTube because I had an echo going. Yeah, it's good so far. I got here Wednesday afternoon. So the jet lag always gets me because it's 7 hours ahead of New York, and so
2 hours on us, in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, it wreaks havoc for a couple of days, and I think I'm back to normal now. So we'll see.
So you're there 6 weeks, did you say? Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody that wants to rob my house in Brooklyn, go right ahead. You'll have plenty of time. Thanks, Ben.
Leave his Leeds shirt alone. And his Rangers
I have
shirts.
I have it with me.
Good man.
I was going to say, at least leave his sports merchandise alone.
Well, not too much. I don't have
memorabilia.
Too much. Yeah. Things are good. Like I was saying, the football match last night, it's right down the block from me, the National Arena where they play their national games. And if I would have known earlier, I would have gotten tickets. If I would have known when I first booked the flight, I would have bought a ticket to go to the game.
Yeah. There might be one more international break while you're there, I think. So you do one every month. So
okay, good. So maybe I'll be able, but I don't know if they'll play here.
Yeah. I'll have a look.
Another legend of the show has addressed Director John with John left Macaulay Culkin to watch his house, so it's safe. Just don't tell him where the cocaine is.
Oh, why?
Actually, it'd tear your ass out to find it, allegedly.
Why, is
he was. I think he's doing all right now. But,
okay.
The 15th of October, they're at home to Andorra.
15th of October. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's the Rangers opening home game in New York.
No, well, no. But yes, stuff Romania then.
Right. Okay. So October 15th. All right, good. I'll have to look into that.
The Director John fan club is rejoicing. He's got a fan club.
Hey,
clearly has. Director John.
Yeah, it's all bandy.
It's all bandy. It's not all bandy. It's a massive fan club. It's a massive fan club.
So you guys were talking about this Leeds game. It was 0-0. I can't watch. I can hardly watch the game, so I have to go on a live player, which it's. I have to I don't even log in. It's one of those websites,
I've got live player.
And it's it's streaming, and then it doesn't stream, and then you have to wait 30 minutes for it to start streaming again, and it's
awful, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. So after a while, I was just like, screw this. I just stopped watching it.
You missed nothing, John. You missed nothing.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Just lost an ear, bud.
Me and Ceausescu were hanging out.
Dear John. Another member of the fan club. Dear John. So, what have you got planned for the week in Romania, John?
Just a couple of museums, maybe. Nothing really much. The friends that I'm visiting, they're kind of busy. So Valentina.
How are they? They're good.
Yeah, they're good. I was just with them. Actually, Valentina and her husband had me over for dinner, and but she's a teacher, so school starts for them tomorrow. So she's kind of been busy, with meetings and all that stuff. And this week she's going to be busy. And her husband Claudio is going for a master's degree. So he takes an exam, I think, on Wednesday. So he's been busy studying.
Well, wish him luck from us and say hello.
I will. Yeah, same crap.
You've been eating the Romanian delicacies?
Not yet. There's a good ribs place that I've been to a few times since I'm here. Oh man, it's just called Ribs. That's the name of the restaurant.
Trust the American to find ribs.
Ribs.
It's unbelievably good. And then there's an Italian place. There's an Italian place, Monza, that's not far from my apartment. That I haven't been there yet since I've been here this time, but I've eaten there plenty of times. And then they have the traditional places that I just wanted to get settled in here before I start exploring again. Yeah, but it's easy to get around. Buses are all over. Trains are easy to figure out. There's 5 train lines, so you can't get lost. Unlike New York, there's 40. And, you have to battle the rats in New York for a spot on the train.
You've got plenty of places to go as well. You've got Europe on your doorstep as well, haven't you? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Getting around Europe's a lot easier than getting around America sometimes.
Yeah, and a lot less violence here than in New York City, which is brutal.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Well, do you mind if we take the liberty to bring up the graphic that you generously mocked up for us?
Go ahead. Go.
Thank you very much, John. Much appreciated. This is the next 5 for Leeds, and
I hope it's
how many points do you want from this, Tom?
I'm expecting more points than we've got from the first 5. Yeah, I mean, I think we have what it takes to get the 3 at Millwall. I think we'll get 3 at Hull. You know what? Ideally, we're going to get 10.
Yeah.
Real ideal, 15, obviously. But obviously, Southampton's going to be a tough ask.
I think the tough game here is Watford. I think if our defences showed up, right, Southampton are there just to score past. Because they're not going to sit with Banks like Wednesday did. They're going to come at us, and I think we outscore them considerably.
Are you thinking more in terms of Watford? Are you using the fact that they stuck 4 past QPR in the opening week more as they like Watford can be quite dangerous?
No, I'm just looking at they're going steady away, and
okay.
Did they draw 3-3 at the weekend?
But
they just seem steady away.
You're right. They drew at Coventry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, Millwall's not an easy place to go. We all know that. But I expect 3 points.
Exactly. But yeah, you're right. Colonel's right. They are a solid outfit. But the reality is, we are in the best position we've ever been in going into a match with Millwall in terms of what we have.
And their captain's injured, and they don't have Creswell to replace him with.
If we can't beat Millwall on the 17th of September, we'll never win at Millwall. Because we're never going to have parachute payments again to the degree that we have now and things like this. So we've got to take them. We've got to take out Hull. We should beat Watford. Like I say, I still think Southampton's going to be tricky because they're going to be looking at us as if to go like they need.
Looking at these thinking, who the are all these shite?
John's like, they're not Manchester United.
I know Watford and Southampton, and Millwall. I thought it was the character from The Simpsons.
I remember that. Yeah,
it's Millwall. Well, Hull's about 40 miles from Leeds, and it's it's a derelict fishing town. It's a horrible place.
I like their logo, though.
Yeah. QPR, Queen's Park Rangers, are in London. They're
I think that's the one game I think we all agree where that is 3 points.
It should be.
Yeah.
But then by the same token, we should have took 3 against Sheffield Wednesday. We didn't. This is what makes this league crazy.
By October 4th, we've sort of hit a rhythm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, that brings up another question. What did you make of the new signings? Spence, I know they were put on too late to affect the outcome, but did you see anything like promising from Jed Spence and Glenn Kamara?
Jed Spence looked great straight away. Obviously, 2 good tackles. What I did notice about them is they both passed the ball quicker. They were just, you could just see they were a little bit sharper.
He's just a very good footballer, especially at this level.
Look, I don't know why he didn't do that 20 minutes earlier, but it was crying.
Did you get a sense that he didn't want to actually play him, but then it got to the stage where it's like, I've got to roll the dice?
I think it got to that stage after 70 minutes minimum for me, where it's a case of, look, play him. But look, I don't claim to be any level a coach like he is. But
my only defence for him is The only defence I'll give him on this, Daniel Farker, is the fact that they're not strikers. So it's not like you're rolling the dice, like you're throwing on a forward, we need a goal. It's like this is still a right back and a midfielder. So
yeah, stick an attacking right back on that can cross the ball.
Yeah, but it's not the same as you're throwing on Eddie Nketiah in the hope that he's going to make something happen, things like that. But like I say, promising starts. We'll see what happens at Millwall.
Yeah. Thanks for that graphic, John.
I had that question of the week. I don't know if you used it yet.
No, we haven't. No.
Okay.
I see.
We used the one from last week with Eddie.
Right. No. There was one that Ben had.
Yeah.
Oh, you done that as well. Oh, this is why we pay John the big bucks.
Oh, really?
We've missed you.
They're big bucks and they're in the post. And I posted them to my address, but they've got your name on it.
They're called Caribou.
Yeah. It's Monopoly money as well. So, just, so we've got some more comments. Are you going, Tom? Are you referring to Watford?
You plan on being online here for a while or what? Should I crack a beer open?
You feel free, yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, feel free. Crack open whatever you want, John, but please feel free, yeah. Bandy doesn't like that derby. I can understand that because it's an away game and they absolutely hate us. Oh, am I going to Oh, God, no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I like having kneecaps. Absolutely not. You'll have a lovely day at Millwall. No, I don't think Millwall fans have a lovely day out at Millwall. No such thing. Criminal fault. If you don't mind, Ben, you did some fantastic work for us, finding some graphic for my first Leeds United match, which occurred.
Oh.
And it won't surprise you. It was also goalless. Basically, when I go to watch football matches, nothing happens. Saturday, 20th of August, 1994, at the Bowling Ground, or as it's colloquially known, or it was, Upton Park. I was one of them. He might well have been, yeah.
Cheers.
But,
cheers, John.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks, sir.
I think it's a Romanian.
Is that a Romanian?
I think it is.
Beer?
Yes.
Tom could be headbutting kneecaps.
Strong like bear.
Yeah, I must have a confession. I weren't a Leeds fan at this point. Like, I officially, I wasn't. I didn't support anyone really. Because I'd only just come off the back of the World Cup. That got me into football's not actually that boring. Like, I want to dip my toe into it. And obviously, West Ham being the local team, it was like, should I support the local team? So, but obviously, Leeds were. It coincided in just happening that my dad's team were playing my local team. So it was really handy that we could get tickets for it. And let's be fair, this wasn't the greatest advert for going to watch a football match. Like, you'll have a great time, son. It's amazing. You sit there for 2 hours and nothing happens. Like, I'm amazed that it's 30 years later and I'm sitting here doing this. Like, by all rights, I should have stuck 2 fingers at him and gone, you wasted my time, get me my wrestling ring or something like that. Like, I wouldn't have done that. My mum would whoop my ass.
I could have got 2 figures for the price of that ticket.
Exactly. Could have gone to Argos and got myself a Lex Luger Hasbro figure or whatever. And I know those are alien words to a lot of people, but that's all right. Hasbro's for the old figures. The ones that they're static and they're not very flexible.
Do you still have them? You can start filling.
They're the ones that are in the cup
week.
They're in the cup most weeks. Because obviously now they've made them more in you can move all the joints and stuff.
Right.
But 30 years ago, it was no, they do one thing. Like they'll have one spring-loaded arm movement or that, and it was like you got to use your imagination, kids. So I did. And yeah, but I thought we'd go over the Leeds lineup for that day.
How many of them met Barbie?
Unfortunately, the only lady in my house when I was younger was Mum, and I don't think she was a Barbie-ish type of person.
Well, I had a sister, and Action Man was always in the Cindy house.
It would be wrong if he wasn't. It'd be wrong. So,
was that your nickname, Action Man?
Got many a nickname, but not Action Man.
Let us refer to James, Mr. Tom. That's true. It's true. Fair point. Good old Lukic. No, Stefan, should I support my local team? Yes, I couldn't support anyone else than CSK Moscow. Stefan's got about 90 local teams that suit every situation. But yeah, so the Leeds lineup on this day, John Lukic, who bounced between Leeds and Arsenal like a cheap whore. Language, apologies. David Reverill, Nigel Worthington, Colton Palmer. Of how the hell did he play for England?
Is he related to Carl Palmer, the drummer?
He is, other than the fact that they both spell and pronounce their names differently.
Right. You know Peter Crouch is?
No.
Peter Crouch?
Do you know who Peter Crouch is?
No.
Like the 8-foot England player. Or he's an 8-foot England player. So if Peter Crouch and Jay-Z had a love child, it would be Colton Palmer.
Yeah, he's basically like a lanky fucker. Who,
it looked like Pob, didn't it? Do you remember Pob on Channel 4? The little wooden puppet that was.
I will give Colton Palmer credit. He is the scorer of the greatest goal no one remembers because he also scored for Leeds in the game where he scored the goal that Yeboah didn't in the 4 goals at Wimbledon. And his goal was sensational. But no one ever talks about it because Tony Yeboah's goal was the greatest goal ever. Bless him. 99 was Worthington's age. I thought you were talking about the Worthington Cup then. I knew it would trigger, Tom. It did. You're quite right. Quite right. Colton Palmer, the hopscotch record breaker. Yeah, that's true. Should we look at the forward line? The Leeds attack in 1994.
Yeah. Well, the midfield.
So basically, it was the same midfield essentially that we had back in 1992. We only added David White to it in 93. So I mean, this is the team's becoming rather stale at this point, right? I think it's fair to say. But it hit full staleness in 1996. But so Gary Speed, Gary McAllister, Gordon Strachan needs no introduction. Great footballers, great men. They were Rod Wallace and Brian Dean up front that day.
Rod Wallace was great.
Of course he was great. BBC Goal of the Season winner in 1994, I believe. So literally 2-3 months before this, he scored one of the greatest goals.
And the player we got
Premier League
in a deal with the Chief, Philemon Masinga.
Yeah, as one the sub. So he came on for Rod Wallace in the 87th minute, presumably to spark some life into the game. He didn't spark any life into the game. I was probably already asleep. But Colton Palmer was 6'4", and at least 6 feet of that were his legs. Spot on. Didn't Crouchy go out with that model bird? That one that he married? Oh, if I knew Peter Crouch was going to come up, I would have compiled all the memes or all the tweets that got sent to him. Like the time a guy tweeted to him, Peter, you're such a nice bloke, I'm actually going to stop masturbating to your wife. To which Peter Crouch replied to him, yeah, cheers, mate. Brilliant. Full marks. We'll give him that. And Greenwood with, I must admit, I like watching, actually, reading this out there, I should have let the ambience of that still breathe a bit, but apologies. We don't let things breathe on We Love Leeds. We all love Leeds, yeah. I'll remember the name of the show one day. I must admit, I like watching Strachan play. We all did.
Yeah, we did.
He was to penalties. He was basically the anti-Bamford because he scored loads of penalties, and Bamford is Bamford. So there you go.
He still on the team, Bamford? Is he hurt?
He's in the squad.
Yeah.
Right. He's injured.
He's on the treatment table.
You should know he's injured, John.
He's got his arse divot is in the treatment table. It's his groove. His arse groove.
Yeah. He has more kilometers vertical than horizontal.
It's in his contract. You will keep the medical staff occupied.
And then I could not believe it when we got Strachan from Red Manchester. I always coveted him from his Aberdeen days. Yeah, it seems to be one of the few Manchester United to Leeds United transfers that actually worked out for us, because it's usually it works out for them. So
yeah, there's always scum tax on the players that we buy, and they get ours for a steal.
Exactly. But I will finish off the story by saying, weirdly, in between that, I went to Arsenal versus Leeds in a story. I've told it on the Stoop, where Leeds were winning 1-0 until about the 78th minute, where my uncle then decided, actually, we're going to try and beat I was 9 years old at the time, for context, so I had no agency in the decision. When I think we're going to try and beat the traffic, and I'm looking at him as if to go, that's a terrible decision. You paid for a 90-minute football match, like, you're going to leave for the end. And then we got home to discover that it finished 3-1 to Leeds. We missed 3 goals. And we won.
And you still haven't seen
Tom
a goal.
Got to see any of them.
You know, like when you watch old footage of a match you went to.
Can I just tell you now, right?
I watch old footage of a match. I was like, I was on the tube.
You can dream all you want, right? You're never breaking that hoodoo. It's not happening. You're never going to see.
Oh no! What I was going to say, I've not seen Leeds score, because I went to. That was on the opening day of the season, the West Ham Leeds game. The Arsenal Leeds game was November, December. It was like winter of '94. But in '95, '96, the opening game was also West Ham versus Leeds, 2 years in a row. So I attended that as well. And that was where West Ham scored very early, like first 5 minutes. I think it was either Mark Draper or Steve Potts. Not sure. But then that was the game where Tony Yeboah busted the net twice. Once with a header, and once when he put his foot through that ball like it owed him money. And he just thing of beauty, like saw him at like my eyes, like there. I'm like, and beautiful. And then 2 days later, he scored that goal against Liverpool, which everyone's seen. Yeah. Let's go back to some comments. Saw that early 80s Aberdeen side. The one team I didn't want Ipswich to come out of the hat with. Would that have been like in the UEFA Cup? I'm guessing it means. The midfield were batty in there. It was a solid midfield. Only 2 years after you guys won last year. It was the first year. Yeah. Basically, we sort of had the same midfield for about 5-6 years, but we funded other aspects of the team by selling Batty to Blackburn. Because getting 3 million for Batty in 1992 would have been like the equivalent now of selling a player for 50 million. I could be wrong, to be fair there, but it was obviously money you couldn't turn down at the time.
Didn't it? In 95, was it share of 15 million? That was the changing point for ridiculous transfer fees.
There's been a lot going to and from Leeds to Manchester, vice versa. It's true. I told you, Tom, don't watch Leeds live. Because no, when Leeds are the away team and I watch them, we score goals. Apart from that one where we didn't. But it's when I watch Leeds at Ellen Road Nothing. I was actually surprised I was invited last year. My record of Ellen Road was that bad. Like,
you brought it weird, didn't you, you twat?
I did. I was hoping like it would bust the hoodoo, but it didn't. It just carried it on. Which bed the old chestnut. When were Man United last Football League champions? Well, they weren't. We were.
26 years before 92.
Yeah, it was like in the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it took them 26 years to win
60s,
it. And they won it in 93, which was the Premier League. So
he busted the net. It's Tony Yeboah. I mean, everyone knows he can't side foot the ball. Actually, he can. He has. But just... I still remember it. I would have been 10 years old at the time because I was 9 the first time I went to Leeds. So a year later, I'd have been 10. And I remember it. I was like, it was like the first time I fell in love with an African. It was brilliant. I loved it. It was like, it was just Tony Yeboah, man. It wasn't the last time.
That you fell in love with an African?
No, it wasn't the last time at all.
Okay, good.
It wasn't last time at all.
Brings us to that John's lovely graphics again.
And I love John's lovely graphics because they're lovely, but also they're informative. So it's time for Mr. Todd's question of the week. Trumpets. Imagine trumpets. Who captained Leeds United from 1996 to 2001? I'll give you a clue. It's another African that I fell in love with. Imagine the theme from Countdown.
That's what I was just thinking every time we do this, right? I'm just going do.
And I don't have access to any of the whatchamacallits.
Oh, is it me?
We'd almost certainly get sued for it. And Ian Pincushion, right on the button. Mr. Tom Fan Club. It's going to be called something different next week. I'm pretty sure of it. John's going to come up with. It's not going to be Fan Club. Let's just say that. It's going to be the latest love of Tom's life, or something like that. But no. Thank you for that, Director John. Wonderful as always. Sam Greenwood with what I wanted the answer to be Robert Mugabe. That's the Zimbabwean dictator, I believe. Pretty sure Peter Lormer busted in the 70s. Yeah. And so, we've gone over an hour. John, how was your beer?
It's good. Are you going to stay on? Because I'll grab another one if you are.
We'll go back, sure, if you want. We'll go backstage with you. All right.
I'll tell you what.
I'm going to
John,
grab another one.
Anyway.
What's that?
Yeah, you grab one anyway. But
if you was to score that beer out of 47, what would you score it?
Out of a 47?
Out of 47, yeah. Why not?
1 through 47. Well, I'll tell you what. In this place, Ribs, that I went to, they had it on draft, and it was just phenomenal. It was one of the best beers I ever had, ever. But the bottle's okay. I'd give it a 40.
This chat's going south.
yeah, it's gone in a direction I didn't expect it to. But it's interesting you say that, John, because I like Pep. Obviously, everyone knows Pepsi's my drink of choice. However, there's something different about it in the tin. It's like this metallic taste.
It's like a Coca-Cola in a glass bottle. A Coca-Cola is different in a glass bottle. It's just yeah.
But a lot of people will say that they prefer it fresh out the thing, and they'll like their Pepsi, and like in the tin's not as good. I'm the opposite. I'm like, if I can have it in a tin, give me the tin.
In a can?
But I'll take the 2-litre bottle as well. I'll take the 2-litre bottle. I'm greedy. Give me the 2-litre bottle and the tin, and I'll be happy either way. But
so that's it. Tom, you like it in the can?
You know what? I'm gonna humour you. Give me a second. I love it in the can.
Right, players out, Top. Players out.
On that note.
On that note, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Do you want anybody else in backstage?
Week, and we will see you. We'll probably see you Wednesday.
Anyone interested in joining us in the backstage? I will put the link in there right now. Right now. Just bear me 1 second. There we go. If anyone wants to join us and speak to the world famous in multiple countries, including Romania and Hungary, probably Cyprus, Director John, you want to join us, there's the link. We'll let you in, and I'm going to thank you all for sticking by us despite our infrequent schedule, let's just say. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the interaction. Thank you, Sam, Stefan, Bandy, Ian, of course. Russ Morgan joined us as well. Colonel Ward being Colonel Ward, doing Colonel Ward things. If I forgot to say your name, I apologise, but I don't think I have. Have a good week. And we'll see you next time.
Leeds.
Leeds.